Trencor has a 60% interest in New York-listed Textainer, a leader in the marine container leasing industry. The business is entirely US dollar denominated and was founded by the Jal family in the 1950s. Trencor has a market cap of 9.6 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 9 and a dividend yield of 3.3%. Now, talking about highly cyclical in nature businesses, this has got to fall straight into that sweet spot, hasn't it?
But dollar earnings, you know, that's irresistible. I think that over time, that's got to be a prime focus. Trade as a whole, the movement of trade, they've got it well focused, they've got the cost controls. I really do like this one.
Well, the share prices are obviously moving in the right direction. We've got a nice, firm, solid trend forming.
Absolutely.
Is it sustainable, Paul?
Look, containerization is one of humankind's best ideas, you know, right up with the television and the motor car. Containerization revolutionized global trade in about 1960. Prior to that, it was all just a humble bumble of parcels that they used to throw onto a ship and do their best with hog, you know, sort of coal in the bottom and parcels on the top. Containerization made it possible to really standardize both the ships and the ports. So it improved the pace and speed of the throughput. Textainer is one of the largest players in that industry. It's always been associated with high debt, though, because the bankers have always been happy to fund new containers on the basis that it's a bit like a building, you know, that it's about a story of what kind of income it can generate. I don't know, though. I mean, Trencor is a bit of a lost soldier down here in this market since it only has that asset and a 60% stake. But they recently did a few good things in Textainer. They refinanced some debt that they had, and they are benefiting from a bit of a recovery in global trade after 2009, so it's sort of okay.
Are you as excited as Ian is about the dollar earnings here?
You know, I mean, there are some question marks. It's a family-controlled business, Trencor, the Jal family. The business was founded by Joe Jal back in the day. His son, Neil, who runs it now, is 78 years old. I'm not quite sure what the succession plan is, and I'm not quite sure why a business like this is listed in South Africa anyway. Maybe it's going to be unbundled, but there are exchange control issues, so feels a bit sort of mixed to me.
Ian, we've got to go back to this share price and say, is this an all-time high, or am I missing, this is a 5-year graph?
Definitely a 5-year high, yeah.
Don't you have to heed caution? It goes back to what I was saying about Imperial when we're looking at all-time highs in terms of buying a stock now.
It's not only that, it's also the question of where is the rand at the moment. The rand is relatively strong. That means its strengthening potential could be less. You know, if it does turn around, or if it finds it's getting close to a barrier at around close to the 8 rand level to the dollar, then maybe that the next move could be a weakening bias over the next year or two, which I suspect, because of inflation differentials, that's going to make this more attractive to my mind.
Paul, what are you going to wait and watch out for?
If you want to buy this one, you've got to go and look at TMCL, which is Textainer Marine Container Limited, the actual operating company. They manage their own containers. They also manage the containers of other people on a fee lease basis. As I said, there's a whole lot of finance in that vehicle. So you've got to get close to that, how it trades, who buys and sells it in New York, which is where it's listed. It's got new management, an old established guy in the industry, Brewer, I think is his surname's come through. So you'd have to make a call on that and then decide whether, working backwards, you want to be invested in a rand-denominated sort of vehicle that tracks that price. All of which leads me to say I'm not hot on it myself, but I can
I'm glad
understand.
you came to the conclusion, but I didn't even ask you the question yet. You're jumping the gun here. Can I ask you now the proper format of the show, hot or not on Trencor?
I'm going to say not, because of the slightly complex structure and some uncertainties related to the Cayman Island listing where it's based.
Ian, hot or not on Trencor?
I'll go with hot because of the rand hedge abilities.